When have you been the most disappointed in yourself?
Getting really hypersexual, and it got really annoying to the point of where I couldn't not do anything. Don't be with anybody that's hypersexual.
I wasn't able to respond to my best friend before he sadly passed away. His parents were really abusive to him, and I was really the only person that me and him could like only connect to. Sorry, it's kind of a hard conversation, but he was just going through it. Honestly, that's really it. But when he texted me, he was like, "I appreciate you for everything you did," and he tried calling me, but I was not near my phone whatsoever. Then I got a call from his sister that something had happened. She told me exactly what happened, and I heard that he passed away. So honestly, if I was to answer that phone call, he probably would have still been alive. I kind of still blame myself to this day about it, but that's like something I've been most disappointed about myself. Don't blame yourself for something that you couldn't control, because it possibly happens, but just take it as a motivation to push yourself even more to be a better person and help others.
The time I was most disappointed in myself was when I was on the mat. I do judo, so niche sport, but I was on the mat getting ready to fight, and I'd not listened to my coach. My coach is also my father. I'd not listened to him, and I basically fucked him off, and I'd gone, no, I'm going to do it my own way. And I got onto the mat, and I got thrown within 5 seconds. It was the British Championship. I got thrown instantly in seconds, and I was so disappointed because my dad was right. My coach was right, because he basically told me to do this, that, and this, and I completely ignored him. And when I came off the mat, I'd seen that I disappointed him, and then I got disappointed myself. He tried to comfort me, but I knew that I had basically done it wrong, and that it was really that he was disappointed because he knew I could have done better, considering I'm part of the British squad now and I fight abroad. He knew I could have done better.
Alright, when I said I didn't love my brother. Like, we got like in like a fight, like over something stupid. I like yelled at him, and it was really fucked up. Don't take people close to you for granted.
When my best friend got kicked out of the campground and I wasn't there to help him, he broke into someone's camper and stole a TV for his brother. Yeah, it was a camper that was in the storage lot, so nobody was staying inside the camper.
When I was younger, I like kicked this kid down because like he stole my fucking crayon. Seems like a kindergarten move, because it was. And I kicked him down and like a chair fell on him, and I was so disappointed in myself for something, like, 'cause I knew what was going to happen after like I get called down to the principal's office, and I was like, damn, I still regret it.
Probably when I downloaded this game. I mean, it doesn't get much worse than getting VRChat, I'm not gonna lie. Because I can't stop playing it. So I mean, I can, but I don't feel motivated to play all the other games I have. I don't know why. Never get VRChat.
Not trusting someone and finding out you're about to die. I was on the call with everyone. Everyone heard me riding on the call. I had an earpiece and everything. I'm like, let's go be dumbass. Phone's on the holster. Everyone's seeing me going good. Bike went in the bush with me. I went, everyone's like, see me disappear. I'm gone. Thought I was dead. Bike flipped to its side, and I was going off the bike. I didn't have anyone to trust. So at that point, like, I should have some people to trust. Now I do. Bring someone with you and make sure don't do dumb shit.
Okay, this is like a year ago, and this was when I was in like a relationship. I'm still learning like relationships and whatnot. So a few months pass and I don't think much of it. And like I'm not seeing these like signs of them changing, and I'm not like asking them if they're okay. And it kind of just like makes me think. Eventually they break up with me, so I'm just by myself now. And then I think, man, I could have done better. I could have done better for them and me. So I mean, instead of moping, I was disappointed in myself for a bit. But instead of moping, gradually, as time went by, I got better and better, and now I know what to do next time, because you can always use your past mistakes as a learning curve.
Dude, a healthy human being who learned from a past relationship to become a better person for the next one in their life, you don't see it often. You don't see it often. Oh my god. Hell yeah.
Honestly, like, it's just about empathy, really, because like I don't live I've lived in the Bronx, dude. Like, it's not nice over here. I see less fortunate people than me all the time, and I can't help but think, like, what would I do if I was in their boots? Like, shit, you ain't never gonna know what someone's going through.
It was about 2 years ago. I wouldn't say I was really the most kind person that I am now, and it's always bad to say to yourself that you're kind and stuff because usually those people contradict themselves. I was visiting a college campus about 2 years ago, and people knew or kind of suspected that I was a gay person, that I was homosexual, and there was this one boy who always messed with me and he hated me, and I was over by the school block where specifically where you learn to teach children and teach stuff like that, and it's pretty desolate because no one really went there, and it was after hours. It was about it was like maybe 7 or 8 in the evening, so it was pretty late, and the guy just kind of approached me. I tried to defuse it. I kind of did bash at him a little bit of verbally saying some things to him, and little did I know that that would really set him off, and he attacked me, and one thing led to another, and I stabbed the guy right around his hip. You'll never guess, like it's like kind of like you didn't even touch him, and it just comes out. It goes in, it goes out, and I'm sitting there, and I look at myself, and I look at him, and he kind of just like just it's like it didn't even faze him. He was a very large guy, but he just looked at me, and I looked at him, and I don't know, we just kind of stood there. I kind of sat there. I didn't know. I couldn't really breathe or anything because he beat the shit out of me. That's why I kind of have horrible hearing in my right ear. But after a bit, I just kind of got swarmed. So many people, different people I've never seen, and authority figures. And it haunts me to this day, and I'm never like to hurt people, nor do I feel hurting people is something that should happen. But ever since that moment, I've like really thought differently of myself, and a lot of people do too. So I guess that would probably be how I've mostly been disappointed in myself. I was in jail for a pretty long time. Not really jail, but the local police station, and there was camera footage, luckily, and I got off with it after a very long legal battle, about the better part of a year or two, getting badgered about it, and finally I'm let off the hook with the amount of time I kind of just served in the police station. I did kind of get off with it. There are some things that I had to work with that still affect me. I'm not allowed to really get a job, and with my existing mental issues, they, won't allow me to get some jobs that have workplace because they think I'm gonna go postal or something. I don't know. If there is something that someone's being bothered with and has been bothered with for a long time, in how they're haunted by something almost. If you've lost somebody, if you blame yourself for a loss, or if you've done something that you can't get rid of, or even if you have gotten rid of it but it's still in you, it's never like it never works when people tell you people love you, people care about you. Why would you want to kill yourself? Nobody gets it. That doesn't do anything. You really have to find something that you care about, not that other people care about. So don't look for it in other people unless you think that's really going to help.
I moved in with a paraplegic person, not a paraplegic. They had fallen on medically hard times, and I'd helped them move out of their parents' house, right? So things were going fine, but then, they moved in, and I had to go away to work for a week, and, dysfunctional people tend to stay dysfunctional people. And, when I got back, the house was a wreck, and they hadn't been able to find their meds and all the moving boxes, and they had just completely sort of let the little situationship that we had fall apart. And, as the situation progressed over months and months, the beginning failure compounding into additional subsequent failures of their health. We showed up to a medical appointment all the way in, I want to say, in the middle of the town that was next to us. Think like if we were in Queens, we had to go to New York, right? We're sitting there at the consultation center, and they're telling us, that the person that I had moved in with, we're gonna call them E, right? E needed to be hospitalized like immediately, right? And it was strange because that day they were doing fine. I think just hearing like that they were in immediate danger sort of triggered something in them, and for the next 5 hours, we waited for a phone call for the medical ward across the street, and it was like 40 degrees outside. Think of this weather here that we're in right now. Sort of sat there and writhed in the front seat of my car for, a couple hours. And, after a while, I had to take them into my arms and sort of go into the front part of the hospital, right? This person was like dying, like retching, They had like autonomic epilepsy, and they had like fibromyalgia and like all of these crazy, stupid diseases. The only thing I really regret about that was that I hadn't done that sooner because they almost died on the operating table that day. I think that's probably when I was most disappointed in myself.
So I got married at a kind of young age. Like, I wouldn't say super young, but definitely a young age. I got married like when I was like 20. And I will admit I was disappointed in myself because like for a while I couldn't get over a certain ex that affected me for like 8 years. At some point when I got divorced, I really could not like forgive myself for it because it's like it was like my only chance of happiness. At least that's what I initially thought. That was probably the when I felt the most disappointed in myself.
What kind of broke that like relationship you had with your marriage partner?
I kept constantly thinking about the other person. I kept trying to contact them. I like throughout even my marriage, I kept trying to like talk to them and like, and obviously my ex-wife caught on and it caused a lot of like issues.
How did the person who you were trying to reach out to, how did they respond?
Very confusing actually. Like it's like positive and negative, I guess. Like while I was still with my ex-wife, they kind of reacted like I don't want to say like positive nor negative, but like they still would contact me too. We would like still talk, but eventually like after like I got like completely separated from my ex-wife, she no longer contacted me, so that kind of like changed things. Look deep within yourself, look into yourself when it comes to like instead of trying to figure out like the why you're trying to contact them, figure out what you can do to change it instead, because I feel like it's a lot easier and it'll ease things up a lot quicker if you figure out what you can do to avoid it instead of why it is that you're doing it, because the why sometimes has way more deeper roots instead, so